blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time.
Hello, and welcome to According to Courtney. I'm Courtney West, your host. I am a full spectrum doula educator, doula mentor, nurse, mom, and a lot of other things in between. So here on According to Courtney, we talk about everything about filling your cup, either that being emotional, mental, and a birth worker space or anything in between. So what I really wanted to do in 2025 is highlight organizations and all the amazing things they do. And I am super excited today to have an amazing midwife who's worked on 3 different continents here today to tell us about her organization.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's so wonderful to have you, and welcome to According to Courtney.
Thank you so very much. Good morning, Courtney. I'm so excited to spend my morning with you today.
I'm excited to have you.
For having me.
You're so welcome. Thank you for being here in the space. So how I love to always open up the space, I always start off with the same 3 questions. It is, what is your name and the origin of your name? Where are you from and where are your people from? And then what do you want to leave today in this space?
Wow, those are easy to answer questions. My name is Khamissa Keita. The name originally is from Mali. Mali is in West Africa. The name is the name I inherited from my grandma, actually, and it has a little bit of an Arabic intonation because the pronunciation in the village where my dad comes from, it's gonna be pronounced Khamissa. So the H is silent, but they will say Khamissa, and Khamissa in Arabic means actually the 4th. So I guess my grandparents found either my grandma was the 4th born or somewhere up, but that's how the name descended. It doesn't have any other meaning than really the relation to that number, Khamissa. My last name is Keita, which is a very recognized last name in Mali. We know about Sundiata Keita and the Mali Empire back in the 1600s, but I am not much recognized descendant of that anymore. But yeah, so I am from Mali. My origins are a little bit split in a sense of, like, my dad is from Mali, Africa. I spent my youth there really until I was 18, and then traveled to Germany, where my mom is from. My mom is from East Germany, close to Berlin. And this is why I really had the privilege and the chance to grow up with those by background. I grew up bilingual and had a chance to share the 2 cultures as growing up. Yeah, so that's in a little nutshell where the origin of my name comes from. Today, I am here seeing you in the frame of my profession as a midwife, and I absolutely love the work you're doing in the community and how you're touching families and moms and babies and improving maternal health and maternal outcome in the community of yourself, but really Florida-wise. I feel very blessed to be part of that coalition of strong women that I had a pleasure to meet since I moved to Florida. What I would like to leave behind today is, of course, the big part of who I am, my profession as a midwife, and a love for what we do, and giving easy access to families to be partners with families and with moms, and empowering them in their decision, and make a pregnancy a very exciting moment in their life, and take the fear out of whatever decision they may take, and what they may like to take for them on their families. That is my passion. That's what I've been doing since 1997, when I graduated as a licensed midwife in Germany. But also today, really kind of curbing a little bit the trajectory to the nonprofit organization that I support with all my heart, in that's active in the local community here in Zephyr Hills, but also with big ambition and big project and vision for Mali, Africa.
I love that. That is like one of the best openings I've had. I was like, yay, all the things. I love that. And you had actually talked on it a little bit. I would love to hear a little bit of your background of how you got into midwifery.
Yeah, so that is also really, how we said, as a young teenager, you have different professions in mind, and then life happens and your trajectory changes a little bit. That really applied to me. Like I say, I grew up in Africa. I've been living in Africa, since I was a baby. Really, my parents migrated back to Africa. I was born in Germany, but at the age of 3 months, my parents went back to Africa, where my dad was from. And all what I knew growing up was the African culture, of course, with some sprinkle of my mom's culture. So I was always surrounded by big families. My dad is one out of 12 kids. My cousins are big numbers. So always celebrating holidays in big numbers, a lot of kids always at the dinner table. So it was big families was really what I knew, and that was for me the picture of what families are supposed to look like. A lot of kids. So I always had one of my cousins that was either pregnant or had a baby. There was always a celebration of a birth, or somebody being pregnant. So it was such a natural occurring to me, that I really saw the wanting to work in that field. And then when I was, I would say probably when I was 12, I had a little bit of a traumatic experience, where I really experienced a miscarriage of one of my cousins. So she was trying to get pregnant for many years, and always ended up in miscarriages. And as a teenager, waking up to her crying and screaming, and blood all over the place, and we were just us at the home, nobody there, no car to be able to take her to the next hospital, and she really lost a lot of blood, and barely really was able to be saved after some neighbors came with a motorcycle, and they were able to transport her to the hospital. So that really, I think, put a big scared and fear, and not understanding what was going on, that it really, I decided to do later on in the medical field. My vision was always, I want to be working in the medical field, and I want to be helping families, or people at first. It was not even only targeted to women at that time. That kind of elaborated a little bit later. And that's how I decided, when I went to college, to pick up science classes, and to focus more on science classes than literature classes. And then when I graduated high school, I applied for one of the school in Germany, because I always had a wish to continue my education in Europe, just having easier access, better education. Both of my parents were educated in Europe, and were very encouraging in going abroad to get that education, with the vision, of course, coming back and serving in your country, which my dad did, and which I'm very proud of him doing that step and returning and bringing back what you really acquire and knowledge and advancement.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went to Germany and started studying medicine for a few years. I didn't feel very much connected to that, and then later on switched off into the midwifery field after working in OB and obstetric in Mali as one of my internship with one of the doctors there. I really felt the passion of labor and delivery, and I loved working there, and I loved the help we can provide to family and how much it means to families to have a healthy baby, to be able to take a healthy baby home, and specifically to be able to take the mom home with them, because certainly was not always the case. Yeah. So, and then 1997, I went into the midwifery program in Germany and did my midwifery schooling and got licensed in 97 and been basically practicing since that time. Yeah.
That is amazing. And I love that you said that, you taking the education, going abroad to study, but to bringing it back home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like sometimes, I know in our culture here, we're always sent out to go leave the nest, go leave, go, but not to come back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And serve. And I love when people do come back. I'm one of those people. I left and I came back, and it was like, why? Because this is the people I love the most.
That is correct. And I really didn't realize, or let's say I hadn't grown emotionally and spiritually to see that need or that ambition in myself, right? Now at my advanced age, I see my dad and I really appreciate the fact that he did that. And I think through that nonprofit organization, I'm realizing that for myself to try to bring back, to give back to that community that made you who you are, all the influence you got and made you the person you are, to be able to give back. So that's why that nonprofit organization means so much to me, because not being myself personally, being able to be there, I can help through that foundation and give back to that culture and to those wonderful people that shaped me the way I was able to become and thrive and give that chance to many more people to be able to thrive.
I love that. And that's a perfect segue. So I would love to hear more about your organization.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when I moved to Florida in 2014 after meeting my husband, and when I moved here, I was not able to practice as a midwife. So I needed to go through the schooling program to get my Florida license. And in the process of getting my Florida license, I got to meet with my wonderful colleague and friend, Lucy Bryant, who has a birth center here in Zephyr Hills. Indio Season is the birth center. And we really connected a lot on a professional base, on the personal base. And I just grew up with her. I loved her vision. She was already doing amazing work in Haiti through a different foundation. And then one day, just talking in the office area, and she said, Khamissa, why don't you come with me to Haiti and let's do a trip to Haiti? And I was like, Lucy, I would love to go to Haiti, but trust me, I have my own Haiti in Africa, Mali, that I am supporting financially, small at that time. But also emotionally. So when I go home, I try to serve a little bit in that community. And that's how the discussion started. And she was like, oh, I want to know more about it. And I want to hear more about it. And we start talking it and just came up with the wonderful idea of creating a nonprofit organization, and me at that time, I was in the US maybe for 8 years at that time. So it was something very new to me, and like, it felt very overwhelming, right? So creating a nonprofit organization and what that may look like, and she really did a lot in facilitating the step on creating that nonprofit organization, with the vision, of course, of working with families here, because we do have a big number of families that really need our help and our support and our love and our caring, but also me being able to really even work more under that umbrella of being an ambassador between the US and Mali and creating that connection. And really at the beginning of the Season of Hope nonprofit organization, it was the vision of, once a year going and helping midwives. I had aunt and friends that were midwives locally there to go and help and assist them and do like an intercultural exchange where we could maybe bring a little bit of our expertise and they will give us a little bit of their expertise. And that's how the first trip started in 2023 when I flew with Miss Lucy to Mali and I introduced her to the culture, to the land, to the people, and we got to work. We had an amazing trip of, I think we were there for 2.5 weeks. We got to work in different settings of birthing, regional birth centers, but also local and community, not birth centers, but hospital. They don't have that concept of birth centers, but like hospitals. From a hospital that has probably 400 deliveries a day down to a more smaller regional birth facilities that may have 10 births a day. So to see those differences, it was a lot of shock and a lot of really realizing how much the need really is locally. And
I would love to hear more about that. So what are the needs? What are the needs that you notice that are different from the needs that you see in America versus the needs that you're seeing in Mali?
Well, I mean, really, basically at every level, right? So it starts with the equipment of the labor and delivery, access to bed. There is really not much of a privacy. You have a big hall that is completely tiled from the floor to the walls and just separated by little, half walls or sometimes just a curtain. And you have 4 or 5 beds in a row, and the care provider will move from one mom in labor to another mom in labor. So the equipment, the facility, not having Dopplers to listen, to not having enough people working. You have one midwife that's taking care of 5-6 moms at the same time. One operation room that is only available. So if there are multiple cases that need either a backbone extractions or a C-section, there is going to be a waiting time that goes with that. To the access of medication. So parents need, when a mom is in labor, they're going to be referred to a little pharmacy that is close by to that hospital, and they have to go buy all the necessary that can be used. That can be an antibiotic, that can be Pitocin, that can be bandage. Most families don't even have that. Most moms have not have any care, neither do they have ever an ultrasound, because those are all payment out of pockets. A lot of families or moms will come from the villages. So that, for example, is one of the smaller birth units in Kabbalah, which is the region where we are planning on building that birth center. And that is the lead midwife, Lucy, and myself. And that is one of the sponsoring we did that year, 2023, where we kind of gave an AC. None of those birth rooms have an AC. So women are sweating with those, you can imagine 80 Fahrenheit, 90 Fahrenheit temperatures giving birth. So very, very hot conditions, warm conditions that increases the probability of dehydrations, that increases the probability of postpartum hemorrhage, and so on and so on. So that is what we realized, and then come to talk with families and talk about survival rates of kids. We met with families that had one miscarriage after another or lost due to conditions that are very common. That can be malaria, toxoplasmosis, hepatitis C, hepatitis B infections that are very common. But very often stuff that can be easily treated, like postpartum hemorrhage, that can be treated with the proper medication, with the proper assessment, to pregnancy-induced hypertension that in our world are easy to manage and easy to treat as well. Access is a big problem. So by the time the mom comes to those birthing unit, they are very already advanced. So the care you can give is very limited because most of them are ready to push, right? So that is a mom we met in 2023 that actually ended up sadly with a fetal demise, and that was her seventh fetal demise due to toxoplasmosis that was never treated because she never had the money for the medication. And we were able to do a 1-year treatment for her through the Season of Hope Foundation, sponsored a year of treatment for the toxoplasmosis. My latest news are that she has not had a viable pregnancy even to today.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
What is so we can share with other people too. So healthcare over in Mali is that everything is paid for out of pocket?
So yes, in 90% of the cases, everything is paid out of pocket. There is a state-funded health, right? So a minimal state-funded health that families can apply due to their social economic state, and that will pay for the birth. So the birth in the birth location that can be taken care, but all the medications that you needs to be provided by yourself. That can be pads, that can be any hygiene stuff that you need, you have to provide that. The hospital doesn't provide food, so you have to nourish your own families. If you need IV, you have to pay that. But the stay and the birth itself can be covered by governmental support. And then you have the families that are a little bit more socially stable or financially stable. They will decide to deliver in private clinics. So you have private clinics that will have better care. They have ultrasounds. They will monitor you for 24 hours. But that is really a financial burden that I would say probably less than 10% of the local community can afford. So those big regional hospitals or community hospitals are very well visited by low-income families, and that is really the sad reality. And that brings those horrible statistics to light. With I was just looking at a new statistic right this morning, so I'm showing here 1 out of 32 moms in Africa, specifically in Mali, will die under childcare. So 1 out of 32 live birth. So that are horrible numbers that we can really change if we gave more access, if we gave more trained personnel, if we gave more midwives that are aware, that can monitor. When we go, we take blood pressure measurement because there is one blood pressure measurement for a whole floor. We brought Dopplers. Some of the trained midwives have never even listened to a Doppler. They use stethoscopes, that's what they use, which is good because it doesn't use batteries. And in the villages, you don't have battery, and the humidity may destroy those devices quick. But all that takes a time to assess for fetal bradycardia and to be able to react in a timely manner. So we brought that. We brought medications, pitocin, and other medications as well. So to see what is possible to really save life and to feel like we could really save way more life is really the goal and the driving force behind that organization. And really the legacy that I wish we can get more people on board. I want to us to reach hands and to join our effort, and as many people as are out there that want to help and support us in that cause, just to do good, if you compare the expenses we have here, life is hard on everybody, but with $150 we can cover almost the whole care for a mom.
Really?
$150 to $200. That is what it takes to cover a whole care for a mom during her pregnancy. So we were able to support 10 moms when I went back in 2024, support 10 moms. But that is just, of course, a drop of water on the hot stone. So this is why that vision really came on. Why don't we do our own birth center and our own birth unit? And that was facilitated by my dad that offered land and sponsored land for us where we can build. And it's in a bigger city. It is approximately 15 miles from the capital of Bamako. It is in Kabbalah. And he donated land to Season of Hope for us to be able to really realize that vision of building a birth center where we can get more moms in, and we can provide the care to moms, do more education, which is a big part. You asked me, what's the difference? The education, the access to education. Again, there is a lot of still gender inequality. Women don't have access to school as greatly as men or boys are motivated to go to school. Female are very often taken out of school at an early age to serve in the families, to help their families. That is really still the model in the villages. So, and because of that, there is no access to literature. There is no pick up a book or do watch a YouTube video or things like that. It's just no access to education, and that's what we want to do. We want to be able to educate more, to be creating more awareness for women to know their body, to know what they have to watch for themselves, and what are alarming signs that they have to reach out to a care provider. All that is the vision we have with the birth center. So it's going to be a community center. It's going to be an education center. It's going to be a place where women can exchange, where midwives that are maybe retired can come and do some community work and work alongside with midwives that are trained in Mali. But also with the vision of maybe having midwives and doulas like yourself coming and donating their time. So you have 2 weeks off and you want to do something great. Let's travel to Mali and you donate your time and work in those areas. So it's really building a bridge. And I always felt like I want to build bridges between different cultures, different part of the world, and really how good it makes you feel when you feel like you really change somebody's life. And I really want to make it clear, it's not only about monetary means that we will change somebody's life. And there are so many other aspects of life where we can reach out to somebody, just encouraging words, or just come and meet us, the team, or come and participate with the work we do here. Give your time. Come and participate in the events we do to raise money. We have right now a event. You can see all those events on our website, posted on our website that you can join. We have a bowling tournament for families coming up in June. So come and have fun and join us. We have a golf tournament coming up the 1st of November to Lake Bernadette Golf Course that we would like you guys to come and play golf and raise money for a good cause. But also, donate if that's what you want to do to help building that birth center. So the picture you see right now is the opening ceremony we did. That was January 20, I believe 21st, if I remember well. The layout, what you see here is the layout of the birth center, the architecture, how it's going to look like. So the bottom floor are going to be the place of delivery. We have big, we call it hacienda, like open areas where air will flow because it gets very warm in Mali, where families can sit and talk about that that is the beginning of the constructions, the pouring of the sidewalls. The construction model is a little bit different than in Europe, but you can see workers defining the borders of what that birth center is going to look like. And like I said, there are going to be 2 birth suites. There are going to be 2 consultations room. There are going to be like a little kitchenette on the floor to prepare meals for families, and then a big teaching or education room for diverse, for postpartum education, for breastfeeding classes, for hygiene, in general hygiene, talking about menstruation period, talking about menopause, and all those female affected phases in life. And then the second floor of the building will then be where we have 2 apartments that colleagues that are flying from here can stay and can be housed. So there are not going to be any costs for the housing whilst they are there, while they are donating their time to work for the organization.
This is amazing. Like, that is just so much. I just had to let you flow. I was just like, keep going. All right. Because you just answer everything. And it's so remarkable to see that, but also so devastating because you hear, how our rates here are in America due to Black maternal health, and a lot of ours are due to the practice of medicine here and what it's based off of.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
What my question is then is like, this, Africa is a rich country and people forget that. It's like, it's a very rich country. It has a lot of resources. Why do you feel healthcare is set up like this over there? And why is there not more access to healthcare? And then also, what do people do without it? Is it just like you just hope your family can know how to birth a baby and you're just do it on yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those are very, very good, very good questions and important questions. I want to take a little bit the first question you asked about, Africa is a rich country. I want to kind of postpone that question because we're going to go politically on that.
I understand.
Africa is very rich in the resources. Yes. Yeah, we have a lot of resources that have never been exploited the right way. But that's going to take us into a very different conversation. The healthcare system is you have to think about it's the highest magnitude of what you can imagine what's happening here in the US, right? So we have in US, we have regions that are isolated, that don't have access to hospitals, that are more rural, where you have more midwife having access to families or physicians that have to travel because there is an hour drive to the next hospital. But still in the US, you have a car that you can take. In Mali, there is no car. Some families may have like a little moped or a little motorcycle. Other families don't just have a little horse or a chariot to take the family. So the accessibility is a big problem.
Okay.
Villages are far from hospitals. The big hospitals that have advanced technology that will perform C-sections are in the capitals or in the bigger regions, but most of the populations are still very rural and living outside of those big centered areas. So there are complications that are known in the pregnancy in the villages. A lot of family members will have their family come in the bigger cities to have better access to that hospital access. But still, it is a lot of money that needs to be paid because there is no standard healthcare system. Like here, people can't just sign up for health insurance. There is no model of health insurance that is taking over everybody. People that work in the administration field, that are hired by the administration, that can be in the political field, or people that work at banks or school or teachers, they have, through their professional life, they can pay into a pension, and the pension comes with a health saving account, right? That will cover some parts of it, but most citizens are still rural. There is less than 25% of the population in Mali that is in governmental employment system.
Oh, wow. Okay.
70% only we probably have an education level. I have to look at those numbers, don't quote me on those, but we still have the education level that is very, very low. So people are still farmers or little selling stuff. Yeah, how you call that? Little, we call it like commerçant.
Okay.
And females specifically are very less educated, so they are more in the families. They are on the fields. They sell their little potatoes that they make on the. So that does not create access to the state provide healthcare network. So all what they can do is to save and then when they are pregnant, go into that. What also has changed is, of course, back in the time we had the midwifery model, right? So like midwife in Florida, we know the history of the granny midwives. That always has been in the villages. We always had women caring for women in the villages, and that was a profession that was given from generation to generation. Your grandma was a midwife. She would go to families and deliver, and then she introduced you to that profession, but there was no schooling behind it. There was not a norm exam that you had to take. So it was really like a hands-on profession that you will learn in your generation. So that still exists. We still have midwives that will care for women with traditional remedies, right? So with herbs, they are very knowledgeable in herbs that they can take to reduce blood pressure. The Moringa plants that we heard a lot in America, Moringa plants is a wonderful plant that is really known for the leaves, for the barks that is used in different aspects. But there are a lot of herbs and plants and that knowledge that is there, and that is what we actually want to gain and preserve. So we are not only relying on our synthetic drugs, but we can rely more on the natural way on pregnancy treatment and pregnancy complication preventions. So we want to get more midwives out into the villages to reach those families, and that can be one vision that will probably come in educating more midwives, locally midwives, so they can reach out and they can travel into those communities and have access there. So instead of mom traveling on the back of a mule to get, so we stay there and we do once a week visits in the village, and we check the moms and we do their blood pressure measurements and their blood testing. That is a very great model. And some of the very big organizations, like the World Health Organization, has a lot of projects like that already. But again, those projects are decreasing in funding. That is just all across the world. That's not just in the US, that's in Europe as well. Those projects are decreasing. And we for sure don't want to compete with those $1 million projects like the World Health Organizations, or there's another one I can think about it, that really do amazing work. And our slogan has always been one mother at a time, one baby at a time.
Oh, I love that.
Yes, it felt very overwhelming about changing the outcome for Mali. In our lifetime, we will not be able to do that. But it is the fact that we're going to change one mom's life today, and then tomorrow we're going to change 2, and then 3 and 4, and that potentially is good feeling. And if everybody does a little bit, I think we will have a big impact that doesn't feel so overwhelming, like we have to compete with those huge mobile organizations.
That is amazing and so impactful. We're at our midpoint, a little bit over our midpoint, but again, listening to you talk, I'm just like, I'm just all loving it. So we're going to have Troy come on in, and he's going to introduce. We're going to take a little bit of a music break and then come back to hear about how can we assist in this great organization.
Perfect. Thank you so
Yes,
very
indeed.
much.
Well, very interesting information. Thank you, ladies, so much. For today, we have her name is Ansharia, and she's a new signee of Blast, and her song is called "Ain't Got Time." Let's check it out.
All right.
The beginning and no end, and middle ground tailspin. We're moving. Trust in the universe, you say. Don't you let nothing stand in the way. We're winning. Ain't got time for yesterday. We're steady keeping the faith. Tomorrow is not promised. Why not live today? We're breathing. Crisscrossing is not shoes. Wrong path, now what to do? We're cruising. Lampshade against moonlight, offset the dark from night. We're gleaming. Ain't got time for yesterday. We're steady keeping the faith. Tomorrow is not promised. Why not live today? We're breathing. Prude clicks and passers by. Can't dream life beyond the skies. They're losing. Soft lips behind the lies, hate resting in their eyes. They're scheming. Ain't got time for yesterday. We're steady keeping the faith. Tomorrow is not promised. Why not live today? We're breathing. Ain't got time for yesterday. We're steady keeping the faith. Tomorrow is not promised. Why not live today? We're breathing. Hey, yeah, me, yeah, ba-da-da, ocean. Sweet, do-dee-dee, ba-da-da, ba-da-da-ba-do-ba. Yeah, yeah, me, yeah, ba-da-da, ocean.
Okay, that was Ansharia with Ain't Got Time. And if you are an independent artist or a spoken word poet or up and coming comedian looking for some exposure, you can go to blastmusic247.com and register for free. But Blast is also looking for the fans. So if you're a fan of great music, you too can go to blastmusic247.com, register as an unlimited artist. Yep. And have access to hundreds of independent music. So there's the QR code. Break out your Samsung and your iPhone, scan it, and it'll bring you to blastmusic247.com. We're changing the industry one artist at a time. All right, ladies, back to y'all.
Hi, you guys. Welcome back to According to Courtney. If you're just now joining us, we've been speaking with amazing midwife Khamissa, the co-founder of Season for Hope, and her organization, all the beautiful work that she does in Mali. So I want to pick up from where we left off, and you just really opened my eyes on so many different things when it comes to health disparities. What is birthing like over in Mali? And I wanted to just kind of run back to this because I just love how you talk about your people and the things to do. And I would love to share with people, how do we help assist in this organization, from it being financial, or if being birth workers like myself, we're like, hey, I want to go. What can we do? What is this process like?
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I'm really, really excited to be here to have the chance to have a platform to talk about the organization and what we all are passionate about. So thank you again for giving the opportunity to listen. So in the fast world we are all and all are in our own world and our own problem. Just having somebody listening to what you're doing is the best recognition you can ask for, and it means so much to me. And it means so much to me the fact that I tell my beautiful colleagues and co-workers at Season of Hope all the time, you guys probably have never been to Mali. Um, you have never, beside me, met somebody from Mali, but you guys are so uh, with me on that journey with the part of Mali. Of course, we have a big part here as well. And it means so much to be able to talk about a part of the world that almost seems forgotten. It's not a paradise place like Dubai or the Fiji or things like that. So we don't really talk much about the people that needs the most to be talked about. So thank you for listening to me. Thank you for giving me the platform, and just thoughts and prayer for everybody on this planet means so much. So thank you.
You're so
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah, so the Season of Hope, my co-founder Lucy Bryant, like I mentioned, that's her beautiful face, really is a true inspiration as a human being to me, and she gives me really the strength and the vision of walking the walk. Sometimes it feels very intimidating when you do something very new, and the scare and to fail is big. But I really have learned a lot with her to trust the process, and like she likes to say, God got this, and He absolutely does. That is Miss Lucy with three of the midwives we met at the smaller birthing unit in Mali, Bamako, and they. You can only imagine how grateful they are for us to come and work with them, and just show them trick. And sometimes it's mind blowing how in different cultures we look at something and there is a way of interpretation that we have never thought about, that we, because we are so medicalized and we are so technology advanced, that we lose, that is the sense of using our eyes, our hands, observing little details that we forget because we are so relying on the NST monitor, or so rely on the blood pressure monitor. So that is very helpful for us as well. Yeah, that's a beautiful young family that they were sponsored by Season of Hope. It's a baby boy that was actually, she delivered in February this year. She was one of the 10 moms that were sponsored by Season of Hope for their pregnancy care and for their delivery. And those parents will stay in touch with the local midwife that really represent the organization there, and really keep us posted about the kids, how they progress, what their vaccination status is, and their visits and so on. So to really be part of somebody's life at that early age is so meaningful.
That is
So
so amazing just to see
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And look
So
at his sweet baby.
yes, so typical Malian moms, when they come to birth, they bring those fabric. You see those colorful fabrics, and
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that. So those fabrics are used as pad. That's what they wrap to use as pad. They don't have the throwaway pads like we have. Those cloths get washed and reused, but that's where they wrap their babies in. So most of those moms, when they come, they don't even have clothing for the baby. So we were able to bring a lot of clothing that we have a group of women in our community that will sew and knit for us. So we bring that for them. So they just get wrapped in those blanket, and that's how they get carried home. And really, most of them don't have the first outfit to wear. So being at the beginning of the life like that, look at that cute face.
Yes.
Yeah. And what I really have to say is how strong those women are. I mean, you won't hear one single complaint. They come, they deliver, they are so strong, so headstrong. There is never a question about the pain medication because there is no alternative, right? So if you know your only alternative is to push the baby out the most natural you can, so your mind doesn't go wander about, oh, should I take a pain med or do I get an epidural? There are no options like that. So you can really tell the determination and the will to do it, and how our body is meant to do it, and how really we can all beautifully vaginally delivered, and how it's important to keep that in us as a human.
That is
Yes,
amazing.
a group of midwife, and the one in the big thing, she's a student midwife. Midwifery schools are rising there as well. They do also a 3-year schooling program like we do here,
Okay.
with their certification. A lot of them prefer to stay, of course, in Bamako, in the bigger cities, because the pay is better, rather than to go in the villages like we were talking about, or in the smaller towns to practice there. So we need to make that a little bit more attractive for families and midwives and their families willing to go, in different areas of the countries where they are needed as well. But very, very welcoming. So they will introduce us, they will try to translate. Luckily, I speak Bambara, so I can communicate with the moms and the families. 80% of people in Mali will speak Bambara, which is one of the language spoken in the wide West African region.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to translate for Lucy, so she was able to really understand and communicate. And a lot of those young midwives learn English, a little bit of a broken English here and there for that basic communication. But that is, for example, the delivery room that you see behind me is the newborn table with a light that does not work. And then you see just like a little piece that is the delivery chair. We want to open it up to be more different positions of deliveries, to be able to deliver a squatting position. Of course, they don't have water birth like we have here at our beautiful birth center here in Zephyr Hills. Those options are just not possible, and but that can change. We can offer water births at our birth centers. So, and that's why we want to bring the innovation, the way of being more there for moms and giving them different ways and options to deliver and to experience and stay in control of their birth and their birth journey.
That is so amazing. So how do we give? People want to give. People give in different ways. Some like to give financially. Some people love to give their time. How do we get in contact with you guys, and what can we do?
Yeah. So giving looks very, very different ways, right? So I will start. Please, everybody, keep us in your mind and in your prayers, and whatever that prayer may look like for you. To just pray for a successful moving of the organization, for a peaceful growth of the organization, for safe for all the members. But beside that, please, you can come and join us. If you go on our website, seasonofhope.org, we have a link where you can actually apply to be part of the organization. You can be an active members and come to our meetings and bring all the suggestions you have. If you have experience in nonprofit organizations and you know how to apply for grants, that will be absolutely great and helpful. We are all full-time, or most of us full-time in the profession we do. We are full-time midwife, Lucy, myself, Kendra, the front desk, Sarah, herself, very busy with her birth photography. But also doula. Kelly is a doula. Kelly is going right now to a midwifery school to become a midwife herself. Carrie, full-time. So we all have a lot of work besides. So any help in terms of guiding us in the right ways? Where can we apply for funding? Do you have some ideas? Can we join your organization? Invite us to come and talk. If you have, like you, not only podcast, but you have a convention or you have a meeting. So that is the board member. If you see Kendra Brown, then Jessica, who is our treasurer, Sarah, Carrie Kelly, and my co-founder, Lucy Bryant. So you see, it's a small team. So we would love you to join us in any way that may look like. You can help us organizing our events. Like I said, we have this year coming up 3 more events. We have our bowling tournament that is coming up June 20th. That's all those informations are on our website. You can log in the website and you can get tickets on the website and come and join. All that can be purchased on the website. We have our golf tournament coming up November 1st. Come play and golf. If you don't like to golf or you can't golf, you can also log in and just sponsor golfers. I know a lot of people in my community, young guys that will like to golf as a sport and as a fun event to connect, but just don't have the means to go play. You can just sponsor players, and we find the players that will play under your sponsorship. And then we have our gala, our end of the year gala. This year, it's going to be amazing. So please stay tuned for that. We're going to do an African team gala. We want to have drummers and kora player. A kora is the very traditional instruments from Mali. Miss Lucy is working hard on that African team end of the year gala. And I believe that is December 6th. So you can log in and purchase a ticket or keep in touch or email us, whatever that looks like. If you would like to do any monetary donations, we will absolutely greatly appreciate that. Also under Season of Hope, you can scan the barcode, you can donate. It can be $10. Whatever you can donate is helpful and will support the mom and the families. If you need a receipt for your donation, we are a nonprofit tax exempt organization. We can give you a receipt of your donation that you can use for your tax purposes as well to get tax deduction for that. Or just send us encouraging words or let us know if you would like one day to travel with us to Africa, Mali, and to be part of the decorating team at the birth center, or when we are ready, if you want to come and do your hours there. Students that want to do some externship hours for their school. And like I say, it's not only midwives, it's not only doulas, like you are one of the wonderful doulas. It can be even people practicing medicine. In the early 2000s, I went with 2 friends that were studying medicine, and they learned so much with different practice, and you just see stuff that you would not see in the setting of the US. You get to see breech delivery, you get to see a twin delivery, things like that. So it has a lot of education purpose with the idea of connecting the world, connecting us as human beings, seeing each other's need, and just giving a little bit from all the blessing we have here. And just remember, we are all on this one planet, and just for a short length of time, and support where we can.
I love that. And it does feel good to be able to support and to see and to uplift, and no matter what continent you're on, knowing that we can learn from each other, which is just beautiful. So our hour is literally almost up, and I'm just on my seat from just so thankful, Khamissa, that you came and shared this information with us, gave us a little piece of Mali, and just really letting people know that this organization exists, that you guys are doing amazing things. You're always welcome to come back to According to Courtney on any galas, any things that have changed, any things you would love to talk about. We are here to listen and have a platform for you guys to share whatever you guys need to share on. So I thank you.
I would love that. Thank you so very much. I would love that. And I know next time we are in Mali, we're going to do a live recording from Mali and take everybody live on the ground and have everybody be part of that amazing transformative journey. So thank you very much for having me, for, like I said, listening to me. And I look forward to everybody that would like to join us in whatever means is possible for them. Thank you so very much, Courtney. It was a pleasure.
You're so welcome. And to my viewers, thank you so much for tuning in with us this week. Know that you are seen, you are heard, you are loved, and you're valued. Until next time, you guys take care. Take care, everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.